Hello and welcome to the Carbitrage Podcast, episode 299, the Subaru Dunk-a-thon.
Yes.
I'm Eric Berger, joined as always by my co-host Ryan Sinitsky. Hello.
Hey, that's me.
Welcome.
Welcome.
All right, before we get into topics, beer, I have a ham sandwich.
I just finished my Mr. Brown Vanilla Artificial Flavor Iced Coffee Ready to Drink can machine.
Which is...
the thickest gauge can I've ever felt in my life.
It's definitely steel.
Yeah, no, this is like genuinely thicker gauge than a Peugeot 405, like by a lot.
It's probably less rust prone too.
It's also thicker gauge than a Subaru. Speaking of Subaru,
I was gonna say that can would not get a door ding.
yeah, no, this is like I had Eric try to press on Mr. Brown's head on this, and like you cannot, like you have to go dead center with all your mass so you could be able to feel it flex.
Well, it's got like a triple tiered rolled
I'm
top.
genuinely.
Mr. Brown is
I white
very
knuckled
strong.
this, and I was able to get it to indent maybe I don't know a half a centimeter, and I can't push it out.
Ryan
we
was
go.
speculating that perhaps since it's Taiwanese, they have hidden instruction on how to transform the Mr. Brown can into an improvised explosive
Yeah,
device.
because this thing, like, you could honestly probably shoot this out of a grenade launcher and take down a jet. Like, this thing's, like, this can, like...
I was noticing it's like an unorthodox diameter. It's probably the same diameter as their grenade launchers.
Yeah, no, this is generally designed to be a projectile. Like,
I mean, look at it. It's aerodynamic.
yeah, it is.
It's probably got rifling underneath this label.
Underneath the label, and then, yeah, it's got the cupped head, so it's, yeah.
Anyway, patreon.com/Carbitrage. On this super handcrafted website-y thingy-mabop, you will find 3 open-ended levels of monetary support for content consumers, that's you, to support content producers, that's us, patreon.com/Carbitrage. And Ryan, it looks like it's your turn to kick us off.
Yes,
today.
I am going to. So it's a Subaru Dunk-a-thon. So I wanted to start out with a Subaru that didn't suck. So like, it didn't seem like we were biased against them because we genuinely actually used to love Subaru. Like 5 years ago when we started this, like they
had good product.
they had good things. Like
You just had to pay attention to what you were buying.
yeah, like it was definitely like coming. Like you could see that the writing was on the wall for Subaru, and now they've really just kind of screwed the pooch. So I want to go back to Subaru in their peak, which was the 1990s, and this is a very underrated K hot hatch that was actually made for rally homologation.
A Vivio.
Yes, it's called the Vivio RXR, which was their K hatchback. And you're wondering, okay, cool, it's just a normal K hatchback. Well, this one is a 4-cylinder, not a 3-cylinder.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was designed to be just revved to the moon and back.
All right.
So it was supercharged instead of turbocharged, because it is... actually, the reason they put a supercharger on it is they were early adopters of CVT's also incredible interior trim.
I agree. Dude, I miss so much of 90s styling cues.
I know,
from
right?
Interior fabrics to just like those beveled wheel covers.
Yes. Oh, that's so good.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's like way better implemented than a Mark IV Supra.
Yeah, no, it's so good. But so this is the thing, like, so they supercharged it, and as I said, they were early adopter of CVTs. If you got one of the lame ones or a CVT,
Yeah.
and it was supercharged, well, CVTs, the car lives at low RPM, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you have a supercharger that can actually make it more drivable and less peaky.
Sure.
Actually, really good design, like, for what you're doing with that. I
Yeah,
mean,
90s turbos were laggy, especially when you're talking about a very small displacement engine.
yeah, and so, yeah, you put a supercharger on it, you don't have to deal with that. And so, in here, I wrote it allegedly has also it's a top-down intercooler on the
see that.
supercharger, which is really cool.
It's the exact same part spin as the everything Turbo K,
Yeah.
but it's supercharged.
Yeah, exactly. So I said allegedly has 67 horsepower because
Were they sandbagging a bit?
yeah, definitely. Because it. All right, so the limit for torque on a K car in the era, which like nobody ever talks about, because it's like it's torque on a K car, and nobody cares.
There isn't any.
Yeah, it was 62 pound-feet of torque, but these made 65. But when they tested them, they had like the air conditioner on and stuff.
Oh,
and
for God's sake. Running it on like 80 octane fuel.
yeah, exactly. They really sandbagged it. So they're saying it has 64 horsepower, but it's likely more. But yeah, it's a supercharged twin cam 16 valve 660cc inline four.
Oh, yeah, the other cam is hiding under the intercooler. I was
Yep.
going to say, it really looked SOHC, but I see it now.
No, it is actually a twin cam. And so these actually had like quite a bit of rally history to them.
Looks like it's all-wheel drive.
Yes.
I think I see a rear diff there.
I think, let me double check. 'Cause they had a RXR and RXRA. I think RA is all-wheel drive.
I love this exhaust, though. Look at that.
Yep. So yeah, the RA was four-wheel drive. So yeah, there was the four-wheel drive and two-wheel drive version.
This one has Blizzaks on it, which is interesting, given how clean it is.
Yeah, I know, right? It's shocking. So these raced like Rally Hokkaido, WRC Rally Japan. There was actually a Japanese K Rally circuit.
How adorable would that
I know,
be?
right? But it actually, in the 1992 Paris-Beijing marathon raid, it outperformed the Mitsubishi Pyro Works team.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So the vehicle that was designed to do nothing but off-road?
Yes.
Okay, I
this
gotcha.
actually outdid that. It was in the 1993 Safari Rally. And let's see here. It finished 12th place overall in that.
So not even just in class, overall.
Overall, 12th place. Like, actually, these are... so Colin McRae raced one of these as well. And he set a fastest stage time for two stages in the... which one was this? Sorry, I'm reading my notes here. In the 93 Safari Rally, but the car eventually did retire due to suspension failure in special stage 16. But like the quote that Comic Ray said, you could hide the entire car in every single pothole along that route, and that's why the suspension came apart.
Well, I was going to say, everything is kind of scaled for the size of the car, so even though I'm sure it was well built for a K car.
Yeah. And then in the another one of their cars retired in stage 45 due to head gasket failure.
Aw. I was going to say, this thing has a ton of kilometers on it. This 285,000 kilometers. Oh,
Yeah.
whoops. It shows four-wheel drive right there.
Yeah, right there.
Me
Yeah,
smart.
okay.
Also love the main factory exhaust can on this thing. It's so shiny.
Yeah, that's an aftermarket part. Yeah,
Yep,
it's they're really cool cars, and just nobody ever talks about them.
And it doesn't sound like a flat four, which I'm sure is fantastic.
Yeah, and well, also it doesn't sound like a 3-cylinder, which is a bummer.
I know.
But so this is what's great about these. The Vivio you could also get in several different forms. They had the Vivio Bistro, which was like the...
I love that trim.
I know that was the like neoclassic one where they made it look like an old French car.
Oh my God.
They had the Vivio T-Top, which was a 2-door with a trunk and removable T-tops, a 5-door model.
That kind of sounds like an X90 if they had T-tops on it.
It looks like a very small X90. Yeah.
What a horrific looking thing the Bistro is.
They made one called a van, which is just a 2-seater with extra cargo space.
Okay.
Like they made a ton of Vivios in the 90s, and yeah, it like what kind of like this is the only K car that has a rally pedigree with Colin McRae driving it. Like nobody talks about him. This is a great Subaru. So also being Subaru, they couldn't put a normal ass engine and they couldn't put like your average 3-cylinder that you find in every K car. It had to be a 4-cylinder.
And was it actually a Subaru derived engine, or was it something they scoped from somebody else?
No, this is Subaru. Like they've always made their own K cars.
So they make inline fours.
Yes, they're just 660cc.
Huh.
Yeah.
They should have just used that and stopped doing the flat four thing.
Well, that wouldn't be very Subaru then.
No, that's true. Subaru is...
No, the reason that this is endearing is because they put a flat four where it shouldn't be.
Well, I mean, this doesn't have a flat four.
No, they put an inline four where
Okay,
it shouldn't
yes,
be.
correct.
They put a flat four where it shouldn't be. They
Correct.
put an inline 2 where it shouldn't be.
Correct.
They've put a flat 6 where it really shouldn't be.
Correct.
They've never ever put the correct engine where it should be.
Correct.
And that's the most endearing thing they could ever possibly do. Is for all the garbage that you have to deal with owning a Subaru, you can still have an endearing, weird little car. Also, the size of the fog lights
I know, I was
on
going to say the
this
big round fog lights.
are genuinely 75% the size of the wheels.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Oh, those have to be 9-inch fogs and 13-inch wheels.
Yeah, and like the fog lights, like they're the biggest thing on the front of this car. It's
Just like a slightly more sturdy looking cappuccino with like bug eye WRC fogs on it.
so 783 900 500.
You're looking at how many dollars that is? Delulus?
Yeah. So this one is $5,253. Yeah.
What a bargain.
Yeah, I know, right?
How much fun you would have in one of these stupid things?
5, 6, 7, 8 grand all in.
If even.
No,
Shipping's
it's
cheap now.
well $3,000 for after all your fees. Just you always budget that.
It might be less right now, though.
It might be, but I would still just. It's better to be safe than sorry,
True.
and assume that you're going to have $3 grand in fees, and then be happy.
No, I guess $300 in extra
Well,
fuel.
yeah, because it's like either you're gonna have $3 grand in fees, or like you're gonna get the car and it's gonna need something, so you're gonna probably want to keep that extra couple of $100 on hand, in case you get tires. Or
It is
clutch
still
or
a
something.
Subaru.
Yeah, it's most definitely a Subaru.
That would probably not be super easy to find parts for in this country.
No, but I mean, there's actually a surprisingly.
Oh, look at that tech. 9,000 RPM red
Yeah,
line.
really, 10,000 just as the final. There's a pretty good ecosystem for parts for K cars these days in the United States.
That's good.
Because Up Garage Japan actually has a store in Los Angeles.
I suppose a lot of them get brought in. So
yeah,
it would
there's
behoove
so
them
many,
to-
there are companies that specialize in just doing K car parts at this point. So it's now more feasible to daily a K car than it was, 10 years ago when I was first thinking about doing that. Like when I considered getting a cappuccino when they were cheap.
Oh, what was the one we talked about last week that you were going to get that van thing, but it was higher trim?
Oh yeah, the Suzuki Every Turbo.
Yeah, but it had like a really cool model name.
Yes, it was called the Suzuki Every Turbo RZ.
That one.
Yes.
Are you still planning on getting that as a daily?
No,
at some
I
point?
still like a K car will most likely be my next vehicle
Fair enough.
because I need the Fiat doesn't. The Fiat is great. Don't get me wrong; it's a really good car, and it is perfect for American roads where I'm going to be taking it 80 miles an hour down the highway. But like the Lexus also exists for doing that. So I want something that really just kind of min-maxes itself, like you do an RPG character. Like if
You want a winter tire and a summer tire. You don't want two all seasons.
exactly like if you're playing like Baldur's Gate, like
God.
you're not going to be like pumping charisma into your barbarian. Like your barbarian is going to be like a big, strong, dumb himbo.
That's true.
Yeah,
But if you're like me and you don't know how to like develop a character properly, you're gonna end up with this lopsided, terrible
Exactly,
character.
and that's how you end up with a crossover.
Yep, that's me gaming for
Yeah,
sure.
and so like I don't want a crossover. I want a good, daily driver. So
And you were going to have so much damn fun in a K-van.
yeah, and it's also one that's turbocharged should be hilarious.
Oh yeah,
So
make it make turbo noises.
if the K-van doesn't work out, or if I end up changing my mind on that, other options, a Mighty Boy is still up there
so good.
because that would also solve the it is indeed a truck.
You should make sure that it has a 3-cylinder though. I think your next car needs to have a 3-cylinder.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think you're right because that's the way to do it. 'Cause 4 cylinders are so passe.
I know, like that's just a noise you can get anywhere. Whereas like a fizzy little 3-cylinder Angry Boy, especially when
Yeah.
it revs to the moon.
Yeah, that or like the smallest 5-cylinder I could possibly get.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd
oh
be
man,
great.
did they? Okay, so are there any 660cc 5-cylinder?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, that would be cool. Can you imagine the sound of that? Oh, it'd be so good. Like a 12,000 RPM 5-cylinder turbo. You'd make little WRC Quattro noises going around doing 30 miles an hour.
I'm looking at the smallest production 5-cylinder, trying to find it.
Fair enough. You do that. I'm going to the next
Yes, tell
topic.
me.
Oh my god, I picked a very bad time to have to burp. All right. I know everyone's probably bored to tears over the EV charging network stuff, but I have to keep hammering this in because we have another conglomerate that has hopped on the J3400 train, which is still NACS for now because although we are making progress on transforming the Tesla NACS connector into an open standard, which is the SAE J3400, that hasn't actually happened yet. We're still on track to see it early 2024, and at that point, I'm all in on this. But I do want to comment on this because we've talked about NACS and its limitations in the past during this transition, and the latest group to come over is Hyundai Kia.
By the way, it was a Japanese market version of the Honda 2.5 5-cylinder. That's the smallest one I've been able to find.
Oh,
So it's not really that much.
That was like the Vigor engine or whatever?
Yeah, but a smaller version.
Okay. I mean, it'd still be
For
good sounding.
Tax. Yeah, I guess.
Is it a 2 liter or 2.5?
2 liter.
Okay.
The ones we got were 2.5s, but there's a 2 liter version in Japan apparently.
Audi never made a smaller 5-cylinder? Okay. Well, I'm sure not if you looked it up. So the internet would know.
I looked it up quickly. I could be wrong, but that's what my 2 seconds of Googling
We will
did.
assume that the Honda Acura 2 liter JDM
Anyway,
5-cylinder.
So NACS again, more.
They
People
are,
doing it.
but what I want to, the only reason I picked this, because we've pounded this into the ground, Hyundai Kia e-GMP cars are all 800 volt. And right now, all Teslas are 350 or 400 volt. So I want to know how the hell that's going to work. I could find...
800 is divisible by 4.
It is, but can the car operate on a 400 volt system? And if so, are you limited to 150 kilowatts if you plug into a supercharger?
I would imagine that it's probably going to still be at 800 volts, take twice as long to charge.
I just can't imagine that the Tesla supercharger cabinets are capable of 800 volts because
No,
they're
they
only
won't.
designed around their cars.
They won't. No.
So can the e-GMP cars downgrade themselves to accept?
Probably, yeah. They're going to have to.
But
Yeah.
usually DC is a direct link to the battery pack, so I just don't know how the hell they're going to do that.
It's going to probably be just going to take a lot longer for them to charge up fully.
But I just don't understand how it's like technically possible for an 800 volt car to DC fast charge on a 400 volt cabinet.
Oh, it won't fast charge. No.
Well, it's going to have to.
Well, it'll quote unquote fast charge.
But I actually looked to try to find if somebody had mentioned this
imagine
voltage
they'd probably change the amperage so it
the-
would still charge, but
Well, of course, I mean, the amperage will double as the voltage goes in
Yeah.
half. But, again, unless there is some intermediate link, which there has to be,
yeah, I'm sure they will.
the charger must have some mechanical means of segregating that and putting it through a transformer. But, like, I want to know the answer to that. So I'm going to keep looking as the weeks go on. And I want to figure out if the car is going to have to significantly downgrade itself in performance while it charges, or if Tesla's newer, Magic Dock compatible NACS J3400 chargers are now 800 volt capable.
This kind of reminds me of how we ended up with our standardized fuel pump filler size.
Oh,
And how it really it's not good.
are you saying our fuel pump filler thingies are not good?
No.
What?
Because the diesel one fills faster. I don't want to stay outside in the cold.
Well, the commercial diesel one is, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only one you can get.
No.
The diesel one does not fit in the normal car.
Almost every diesel pump. Yeah. No. There's two handles. One is
Yeah.
for the truck, the big boy, and they have a passenger car one. Because all passenger car diesels in the States have the small orifice.
Never seen that.
Yeah. The only reason I know that's because I daily to diesel for like 5 years.
But anyway,
Yes.
it just doesn't work. I don't know. So the reason that
Everything
this
is awesome.
Yeah, the reason that I think about this is I just think about the fact that who was it? The guy that used the NASCAR driver that would he was a bomber pilot, Smokey Unick. Smokey Unick.
I'm sorry, is that a name?
Yes, we talked about him previously.
Okay.
He was the one that was a bomber pilot in World War II. When he was doing training runs, he'd take Coca-Cola bottles and drop them out the window to scare farmers into thinking that they were being bombed.
Oh, my God.
Coca-Cola bottles make the same noise as a bomb. Then,
I suppose as it goes over the orifice. I remember it now. Okay.
yeah. Anyway, so one of Smokey Unick's, two of his incredible things he did. He had he was limited to his fuel tank size, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can only have I think it's like a 21-gallon tank. They never said how big the fuel hose to the engine would be.
Okay.
So the entire fuel hose throughout the entire car was 3-inch hose.
Just to fit an additional ton of fuel in there?
He fit an extra 5 gallons of gas throughout the car because he looped it back and forth from one side of the car to another. So he put an extra 5 gallons of gas and it just net down to carburetor size. That was one of the things he did.
Okay, that's pretty fantastic.
Yeah. Another one that they did is
Wow.
they limited the pump speed that you could refill your car with.
Okay.
And they limited the size of the fuel filler hose.
Okay.
And his way of dealing with that is he used the same fuel filler hose, but they never said how far away the gas tank needed to be. So he put his gas tank up on a big plinth,
Oh, so it was
25
like
feet in the air.
Gravity feeding through that pump.
So it would, by the time it got in there, it had terminal velocity and was filling the gas at 125 miles an hour. And so
So it's just like forcing fast fuel through the slow pump.
Yeah, and so I'm just thinking about like
I love that hateful person.
his smoking unit is incredible. He's just the best cheater. So my favorite thing is he never
Just
said
modern F1.
Yeah, he said he never cheated.
That's true.
If you'll call him a
within the
cheat,
rules?
yeah, everything was either within the rules or was not a rule yet.
Well, if the governing body allowed him to race, clearly he wasn't
was just
cheating.
creative. So I would like to see EV manufacturers like they need to channel their inner Smokey unit with this, because like obviously it's 400. You said 400
400
volt.
volt is nominal, yeah.
Yeah, like this 400 volt standard is not good for anyone.
I mean,
but
they're going to 800, but yeah,
they're going.
They haven't done it yet.
Yeah, they're gonna find other ways to do this. They're gonna like crank the amperage or the wattage. I guess that would be a way to do it as well.
Wattage is the function of both, so amperage and voltage.
Yeah, so the amperage they just crank up super high.
That's why I mean, all these are water cooled. The cables are water cooled.
Oh yeah, they can totally just crank the amperage to the roof. Yeah,
Yeah.
if it's water cooled. Yeah,
I
no,
mean, that's how you can have a
they're
cord
gonna
that's
they're gonna
an inch
figure out
thick.
what the amperage is at which point the handle melts.
Oh yeah,
and they're gonna
they have.
they're gonna get it to that point, and then they're just gonna leave it there.
Yeah, it's like 1,000 amps right now with water cooling.
They're just like people that live in Alaska, or their cars are gonna charge super fast.
Uh-huh.
They're not gonna be able to go
They're
into their car.
riddled with temperature sensors. Like that's always been. And again, some of the engineers that have worked for Tesla are brilliant. Even the charging equipment that comes with the car that plugs into your dryer outlet.
The best engineers in the world, some of the best engineers in the world, work for GM.
Mm-hmm. I bet they're bored.
The thing is, having great engineers and being surrounded by everybody else in the company actively undermining them at every chance doesn't mean you're going to have a good product.
Nope.
But that does mean you can still have good engineers. Like, look at, like Darren works for Blue Origin. They can barely get into the sky. But Darren's wonderful at his job. Like, you have talented people, and then you have everybody around the talented person being not talented.
It's crazy how the low common denominator brings everyone down.
Exactly. Yep.
But yeah. Anyway, so I will be following up on this at some point. I guarantee it. But right now, that's what I want to know: is how the hell can a 400 volt network handle 800 volt cars?
Huh. Yeah, no, that's curious. I am excited to see how that happens in the future. So I want to talk about a conversion as well.
Okay.
This is a front-end conversion
Oh my goodness, yes it is.
on a Toyota Tacoma. And I want to hate this really badly.
It somehow works.
And it works way too well.
Yeah.
So this is the Flex Autos, which is a Japanese conversion manufacturer, kind of like Mitsuoka, where they just make like very cursed objects. But they've made a FJ, I think 80 front end conversion for the current body style Tacoma, and is it FJ60? I'm sorry. It's the late FJ60.
Huh.
The continuation FJ60 front end.
It's right when they got fuel injection. That's that era.
Yeah, well, so they continue the FJ60 today in South Africa.
Of course they do.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it looks really good on the Tacoma, and I'm really mad about that.
I think it's because of the steel wheels with the chrome center hub covers.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Without that, this would look really wrong.
Well, I mean, even then, like it matches the bedline, the wheel arches, the windows. The only thing that betrays the front end is the curvature of the windshield. Mm-hmm. And that, other than that, you fix that. Like if this had a different roof line, like everything on this would be perfect.
I want to see like a full-on side profile or even like a rear 3/4 though, because I do wonder if those super modern taillights would conflict anymore.
They have
with
one
the front
photo of
marker.
it on the beach here, and on the beach it looks
front geared though.
Yeah, there's some in the front.
I know. I still want to see what it looks like from the back.
But yeah, no, that is very interesting.
I like that you can get a Tacoma with a 6-speed manual still. So
yeah, you can get a 6-speed manual Tacoma with a great front end. Like, I'd kind of be okay with that. And also,
I love that the headlights are dog shit on this thing after the conversion too, because it's using like a sealed beam.
No, it looks like a sealed beam.
It's probably an H4 conversion.
Yeah, it's H4.
Still, it's gonna be a lot worse than a projector with
I'm not sure.
HID.
I'm really not sure about that because, like I said, they still make these in South Africa. Mm-hmm. And I think they have fairly similar headlight standards to like Europe. Mm-hmm. So it's probably because like that old one is sealed beam.
That one looks like a more modern one.
No, sorry, this is not a FJ60. This is FJ80 with a 60 front end. That's another one of their conversions.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, it's another one of their conversions.
Look at those wheels covers. Oh,
yeah,
man.
they do.
They really love Steelies with covers.
Yeah, they do weird conversions. I'm kind of not mad about this company. Like, they do a really good job at doing this. Like,
it's better than those like Chevy retro pickup packages that one dealer did.
If you look at their at the link right here, the opening its first U.S. office, it goes through that. Yeah, these are in fact FJ60 front ends on FJ100. Trucks.
There, that's.
But,
yeah, no, that's on like a GX or a Pajero.
No, that's the 100 series.
Oh my god. Oh
yeah,
my
no,
god.
That looks sick. The van. Yeah. The H200, the modern Hiace with the old school front end, looks sick.
Yeah, the Hiace looks actually way better with the
front end. They're doing a good job here. Wow, I can't believe that. I've never seen a company that does conversions this well.
Huh.
Like, it's like this and like Janetta. Like, Janetta does the Miatas that look like they're from the 50s.
Yep.
Yeah, and like those are the two conversion companies that like don't look bad. And I kind of hate that I'm not as mad about this as I feel like I should be.
Yeah, it's unfortunately very well done.
Yeah.
Even with that like compliance reflector, because that's required, just because none of that meets modern standards anymore.
Yeah, and like that compliance reflector still like it adds to it because they made the most square reflector they possibly could.
Well, and that helps because the front end's very square.
Yeah.
It kind of eases you into the body line, but yeah, somehow they've really made that work. Does this, I assume it changes the fenders too. So fender, bumper, and
it's fender, bumper, hood, grill, obviously, headlight assemblies, front fascia. Yeah, basically everything in front of the A-pillar is just all the bodywork you pull off. I'm curious, can you scroll down a little bit to the beach picture? Okay, so I still have the original rear bumper. So maybe if they put on a chrome rear bumper, that might make the rear end look a lot better. Because I think they were doing that with their 100 series FJs. So
yeah, it looked like it actually, because they had a back shot of one of those. Yeah, I still think they could probably get away with retroing the taillights a little bit.
Oh, totally. But I mean, it's also a bed on a pickup truck, so you can do whatever you want with those.
Chicken tax, what?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, yeah, I thought that was cool.
Of well-executed boxy pickup design, there's a company that has not done that, and I definitely want to hate on these guys, too.
Yep, that's this one. You want the next one?
Wait, hold on.
3 cylinders slowly taking over American
cars.
cars.
Oh, I had the wrong...
It's right there. I'm clicking on it. Just click the thing. You're
they can't see this.
There. I know, but I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, anyway, carry on.
What the hell?
Just talk about this.
Well, I'm going to, but now I'm really curious why the hell the lower notes thing said the wrong thing. Last episode, we talked about how much we love 3-cylinders. Even Chevy's terrible little 3-cylinder sounds like it's probably all right. And the Buick Invista, is that right? The Invista?
Yes, the
one
Invista.
We talked about last time. But Nissan now has a subprime 3-cylinder. Have you noticed that it has a timing belt as well?
Cool.
I know, right? Because nobody maintains their cars, so maybe these will actually survive.
That's actually great.
I know. Look at this little happy guy. So they're getting rid of a lot of their 4-cylinders, like the 2.5's going away, and they're...
It's an awful engine.
This is a terrible engine. It's been around since 2002.
I know, and it's never been good at any point in time. Like in 2002, people were like, "This is shit."
Yeah, get the 3.5.
20 years later, it's still shit. Yeah.
They're like, yeah, okay, get the 3.7. But anyway.
That engine's been around. So if the 2.5 wasn't bad, I'm going to dunk on the 2.5 for a second. If it wasn't bad, 20 years is plenty of time for the aftermarket to discover them. Because every junkyard has an abundance of them.
They do actually handle neglect pretty well, but it isn't a good engine.
No, because they don't do anything else.
Correct.
It's a heavy, lumpy, bad engine. And it's not counterbalanced. Or it doesn't have a bounce shaft. I'm pretty sure it doesn't, because it doesn't feel like it has a bounce shaft.
Right.
If it does, I'm going to eat my shirt, because it is one of the roughest feeling engines. I felt these engines.
It probably has a thingy in the oil pump, but yeah, it doesn't have like a dedicated countershaft.
Yeah, no, it is definitely just standard, normal balanced, and it is just awful.
And their timing chain.
Yes, they're just bad all around.
Which in the 90s and 80s was a good thing, but in the today, when we run tap water for engine oil, it's a very bad thing.
Speaking of those cursed modern timing chains, Buick was the brand that brought nylon timing components into existence.
I don't like that.
Yeah, Jana's Buick has a nylon crank gear.
What?
Yeah.
For the Dizzy Drive or something else?
Nope.
For the actual
For the cam,
chain.
for the chain that goes to the cam. And the reason they did that was to lower engine noise.
That is a bad idea.
Terrible idea.
Is there a fix for that?
Yeah, thank God there's modern ones that aren't. But holy shit, what?
That's an awful idea.
Yeah, that's why I haven't done the water pump on the Buick yet. Because when I pull the water pump off, I'm going to look at that on that crank gear. And if that's not converted, I'm going to convert it.
Do they switch to brass or steel, or what do they do?
Steel.
Okay. Because I know sometimes with timing components, you have to worry about like a mismatch of materials.
No, they're
and
just
sometimes
steel
aluminum,
now. But yeah, it was only the bottom one because the lower crank gear would make noise moderately from the factory. But it's like you have a mechanical fan, you have a 401 cubic inch V8. You have
There's
a
noise.
CVT. It's gonna be a noisy ass car. The fuck are you talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, but a little bit of chatter.
Yeah, I know, right?
But anyway, yeah, when this has 400,000 miles on it and it's had one oil change, it's not going to be nearly as loud as the 2.5, and it's going to sound good. Because earlier in this episode and all of the last one, we talked about how much more charismatic a 3-cylinder sounds.
Is this gonna be
than a
turbo or
4-cylinder.
NA?
It is turbo, yes.
Okay, I saw it was
Yep, direct injected turbo,
Okay.
12-valve
cool.
engine. And like, it's a Nissan, so who cares? But 3 cylinders. Yes. Oh, I'm not even going to show you the Rogue. Nobody cares about that. But yes, timing belts. Come, please.
Yeah,
Everything,
this is a good design.
Bring
Let's
us
scroll
timing
down and
belts.
see what else they talk about here. Because it's going to be a 2.5 for the Rogue. It's be turbocharged, direct injected, variable valve timing. All right.
They're just commenting about like how modern engines, like a
Scroll down.
V6
It says
turbo,
rides a 3-cylinder down here.
like a V6 turbo makes more power than a V8, and 4 cylinders make V6 power. So it makes sense that 4-cylinder eco engines are being replaced.
4-cylinder engines made up 57.2% of all sales in the first 3 quarters of 2023. Holy crap!
Good, because I mean,
4
why
cylinders
have
are
a big
better
engine?
than a 6.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. No, you want if you have an engine, you need to have the prime numbers are the best engines. Like you want engines that cannot be divided by anything other than themselves
And one. Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, that is prime number engines are
Except
the way
for
to do it.
maybe a 7-cylinder. That might not be the best thing ever.
I don't know. I guess I've never seen a
God, that
7-cylinder.
would sound weird.
Yeah, probably would. Be
Inline
really cool
7?
at that. Yeah.
Man, can you imagine the firing order of a inline 7? How they would have to do that to get it to balance out? Oh God, what a harmonic nonsense machine that would be.
All right, let's look here.
Ryan is now looking
Marine
up
applications.
inline 7 marine
Yep.
engine.
Yeah.
Who makes it?
I have no idea.
Okay.
There's one for agricultural use that's 598 cubic inches.
Holy shnikes.
It's 470 horsepower, but 1,300 pound-feet of torque.
Wow,
at
that's a
1,500 RPM.
Big engine.
Yeah, so
we
that's a
wouldn't even know
tractor
how
engine.
it sounds. Yeah, and it probably can't spin faster than that due to harmonics.
Yes, actually, Warcella Salzer makes a 2-stroke 7-cylinder diesel.
Okay, Corey.
Well, with Warcella Salzer, they do make very cool engines.
They make very large engines.
So there's Agco Sisu 98 HT. Oh, cool, Agco. I know that company. Agco is Alice Chalmers.
Okay.
That means it's made in Wisconsin, or was previously. Now it's made in China. But it was released in 2008, intended for farming machinery. The engine shares various components with the company's straight 6. It's a straight 6 with more displacement. Hell yeah.
Just bolted on another.
Yep, it's a
all
straight
right.
6 with an additional cylinder. Let's look at inline 9s.
No, you've gone too far.
Rolls-Royce made them.
An inline 9?
Yep.
Why?
Because there was one less than a 10.
But they never did a 10.
There's a flat 10.
Well, yeah, but not from Rolls Royce.
No. There's a V10.
Well, I know there are V10s.
I'm looking at engines that are prime numbers here.
I now want to hear about a 7-cylinder engine. Hear what it sounds like.
I'm very curious what it sounds like. All of them, well, they're 2-stroke diesels, so they can't sound terrible.
That's true.
Like, they're giant two-stroke diesels.
That is
like,
the best way of getting a representative audio sample of an engine while not having it spin fast.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, here we go. Here's the specs on the RT Flex 96C, which is their, sorry, that's their
It's got a very JDM name.
yeah, it's 107,390 horsepower.
That is a very large engine.
Yes. Maximum engine speed is 120.
So it's in, like, ships?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a boat engine. But that would sound really fucking cool.
You wouldn't be able to hear it. It would just be like...
You measure your cylinders in meters.
Is it over 1 meter?
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah. It's very good. Yeah. So that's another prime number engine. I love that. So anyway, I want to move on and talk about the other end of the automotive spectrum, Dihatsu, which makes small things.
They do indeed, and probably not with inline sevens.
Well, so it is car show season again, which means another season of weird and/or wonderful Dihatsu concepts, because Dihatsu can't be normal.
Correct.
And God bless them for that.
I do like the fact that I can see the coil spring, and they acknowledge that, and they've painted it body color.
Yep. No, Toyota owns Dihatsu, and Toyota uses Dihatsu as their like wacky brand. Like they're the CB2 of Toyota. Yeah, CB2 is like the wacky version of Crate and Barrel.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the CB2 of Toyota. So I'm kind of here for that. So the first one is called the Dihatsu Osanpo, which is an electric crossover convertible, which is just a bunch of things. They just checked a bunch of random boxes. It is the same length of the Cope and K car, but it's a little bit taller, all-wheel drive, a little bit longer wheelbase.
And it probably costs a nickel to insure because all of the belt line and below and the front and back is black plastic.
Yeah, and here, click on the interior photo.
Oh my God! Does that have a 200 CD changer as a center console?
It appears so.
Or is that?
It's probably the fan.
What did they call those? In old jukeboxes, it was called like the condenser or something like that.
Cassette.
No, the actual device that was the mechanical selection device. Before they had microprocessors,
Yeah.
they had. Anyway, it looks just like that. If you've seen the inside of a really old jukebox, not the part that you're supposed to see inside of, but the part you're not supposed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the inside. It's got either that or a 200 CD changer in it.
Or you can just see the fan. I like the idea that you can see your blower fan.
That is, yeah, actually.
That's kind of cool.
That's a really big blower. So
Yeah. So it's a 3-seat cabin, which I love. I love odd, again, prime numbers. 3-seat cabin. Look at the size of the headrest in this bad boy.
oh,
They are
yeah.
massive.
I have so much safety in this bad boy.
Yeah, this is a good guy. Looks like it's got 3 lug nuts, which is good.
It's got very Citroen-like wheels.
I genuinely am surprised that this has 4 coil springs. I thought it would have 3.
Screw that. I thought it would have Hydra gas.
The third coil spring is directly attached to the back seat. So I think this is cool.
It uses a pushrod suspension just on the rear right, and it's got 1 spring on the rear left.
No, it'd be like a Subaru FF1, where they had that was Subaru's first full-size car.
Okay.
FF1, front engine, front wheel drive 1. But
That's so not JDM.
they had a 3-link suspension, or no, it was a 4-link suspension system with 1 spring centrally mounted.
Okay.
And then struts on each end.
So was it actually like pivot shafts and everything, or was it
Nope,
just
it
like
was a solid rear
unit?
beam.
Oh, okay.
It was a solid rear beam, so it had struts on each side and a spring in the center.
Great.
Makes it really easy to lower, because you just buy 1 height adjustable coilover. And they're actually pretty cool looking when you lower them.
I don't like this.
Anyway, let's move on to the next Subaru.
Oh my God.
Or next Subaru. What am I talking about? The next Dihatsu. This is called the Mimo. Not the Mimo. The Mimo.
Not multiple in, multiple out.
No. The Mimo is a urban EV that places strong emphasis on sustainability and versatility.
This sure looks like a not me.
It certainly does, doesn't it?
Is it a not me?
No. But it still has the weird little center console thing.
It also has the most 1980s wheels I've seen since 1989.
Yeah, no, those they
It is literally a waffle iron.
They saying on Sid Mead, and the designer just had a Ouija board, and Sid Mead designed some wheels for them. That is how they did that. So that's pretty cool.
This one also has a condenser CD changer in the middle.
Yep, and still has a 3-seater configuration. So the rest of it's cargo area, which is kind of cool, actually. I
Are
like
those
that.
air vents or speakers?
No clue.
Okay, maybe both.
Could be.
Air speaker vent.
But it's minimal overhangs, compact wheels, flat sides, and a roomy interior. I love it. The Mimo's good. I may call it the Mimo instead of Mimo because
It says
it
Mimo
says
right there.
Mimo.
Mimo.
That's a good name for a truck.
Finding Mimo.
And the final one is called the Dihatsu Uniform, which apparently I don't see a photo of. Oh, there it is.
Oh no! What happened? There we go.
There.
Some terrible advertisement.
That's so much better.
For an Outlander.
So, the Dihatsu Uniform truck and cargo van. They are light commercial vehicles. Perfect. That's what we need. The Amazon man arrived at my house today.
Ooh, they've moved the CD changer to the left a bit.
Oh, they did. Look at that. This is a good looking truck. I love this. Like, hell yeah. I want this to be my Amazon truck. Like, this is a perfect inner city final mile delivery vehicle.
Look at how happy he is.
Yeah, it's great. I love the LED headlights.
Uniform. Look at me.
Yeah, so what's cool is they also have a external power supply function, so they can, and it enables them to be a mobile shop.
Oh, it's a vehicle to load?
Yeah, so that's really cool. So so basically,
I like that.
yeah, no, that's really cool. Is that for like small businesses, you can just take your little truck, your little coffee truck, and then go to your location, and then vehicle load. You don't need some loud generator ruining everything. Yeah, that sounds
Perfect
great.
for like a plumber or a handyman or something like that.
I'm thinking of farmers market.
Vita. Oh yeah.
I just dropped Jan off at work today. In Minneapolis, the Mill City Farmers Market was happening. It was a sea of just little small engines making power. It was very annoying.
I don't know what they would need power for other than maybe refrigeration, I guess.
Refrigeration, or if you have like a blender or something, you're in the middle of a parking lot. Like,
I didn't know they did like prepared foods at farmers markets.
You should go to them. I think
I should. There's one easy walking distance to my house every Sunday.
You should do that. It's very good, the one over by your house, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the St. Paul one. Yeah. Would you like to go tomorrow? If they're having it tomorrow, we can go tomorrow.
I think they do every Sunday. What time does it start, do you know?
In the morning.
Thank you, Ryan.
It's started by the time I wake up.
Probably. I don't think
we
I have
we could show up at like 8, 9. I think maybe. I don't know.
Well, let's assume the same for 8. Anyway, that doesn't need to be recorded. Let's talk about.
But anyway, you should go to a farmer's market
with my uniform and use a blender.
Yeah, there you go.
Gotcha.
Anyway,
back to the title of the episode. Let's dunk on Subaru some more. I was scrolling for articles today, and on the Autopian, I found somebody had a test of the new Crosstrek Wilderness, which is a trim level, kind of like trail rated, but not. They found out that this bad boy has a skid plate. So they perched it on a piece of rock, they got underneath it, and they noticed that not only was it like 16 gauge sheet metal, the entire perimeter of this skid plate, which mind you is designed to protect the underside of a car hitting stuff, is completely plastic riveted to plastic panels. Yeah, it's basically the Hams can versus the Brown, Mr. Brown, okay? Subaru has not figured out how to make a car yet.
This is actually 16 gauge.
Yes,
real life.
But
like, real life, this can of Mr. Brown coffee is the same gauge as the underside shield on this.
On a Wilderness trim Subaru.
And it's connected to what?
Plastic. It's using plastic rivets. Okay. You know, the things that do really well in like cold and off-road environments because they have excellent shear. Oh, wait. Terrible shear resistance. Yeah, that's the one I'm looking for. Also, yeah.
What do those plastic rivets go into?
Plastic. Yep. So it basically goes into plastic, which is your bumper and your fender liners and your lower like pedestrian crash protection.
Josh Erickson, the man that did the little magnets that come with our invitations.
Yes.
He recently bought a 2023 Civic, or 2022 Civic, the current body style Civic.
Yes.
I did oil change for him because I was showing him how to do it on his car because he'd never done one on that. He'd only done them on like weird old things, so he wanted to like make sure he's doing it right.
Where's the glass filter element bulb?
Pretty much, yeah. And so I was showing him, and I was showing him high, which, fun fact, that's a really good litmus test of how difficult an oil change is on a car. It's super easy. So I noticed that the metal skid plate on the brand new Civics are thicker than this. They are literally that thick of where it's bent over here.
Sure.
Which, again, Civic. Literally, the name of the car is City.
It's a car designed to be on pavement its entire life.
And it has a metal skid plate that's thicker than that.
And what is that skid plate attached to?
The subframe.
Which is?
Metal.
Ah!
And they did use a plastic rivet.
Oh.
But they have 3 metal bolts, 2 in the front, 1 in the rear.
I see.
If all the plastic rivets break off, you still have the skid plate attached. The plastic rivets are there, so it is able to flex and not stress the metal bolts.
Crazy.
It's actually well designed.
Crazy.
Yeah. And so it doesn't vibrate.
Take that communist thought process and you get out, sir.
Yeah.
That's not welcome at Subaru's whatever.
I'm
production facility.
thinking, every time I see modern Subaru, I just think back to like prior Subaru products, such as the Nakajima N1K1, if you look that up. Nakajima N1K1. There you go. Thank you. This is the Nakajima N1K.
This?
Shinden, yes. You can take that one. Sure, why not? This is a wonderful fighter plane. And this actually,
That's what makes a Subaru.
it is. And this is actually a much better plane than the Zero. And this is what they ended up replacing the Zero with. It was originally designed as a float plane. And so, actually, it's mid-war.
Damn it.
So,
It was probably under development earlier.
it was designed to be a float plane. And so if you look at the landing gear in the front, the landing gear is really thin because they had to fit it around where the guns would go. Yeah, so, yeah.
Guns first.
The landing gear breaks off at about 130 miles an hour, and the takeoff speed is 100. So you have to really, be on top of this. Which is that was a problem. That's a very Subaru.
It was a problem.
It was a Subaru thing. However, once it's in the air, and assuming you don't break the landing gear off,
On takeoff, mind you.
yeah, on takeoff, the Americans found out that this actually could outmaneuver and outperform the F4U Corsair, the Marines plane, in every form. Even though it used 7.62 millimeter guns, such 30 cal guns on it. It 30 cals and then 50 cal cannons. Or were they 50? No, they're 20 millimeter cannons, which is a hilarious combo because it's like tiny bullet and then small tank round. And that's what they were firing.
This is very long.
Yeah. This is a prior Subaru product.
Mm-hmm.
Subaru is capable of making good again, also you can tell it's Subaru because they had the weird landing gear. Of course,
Right.
some sort of Achilles
There's
heel.
a problem.
Yeah, there's always a problem with the Subaru.
That's a Subaru. Okay.
But also,
what's the
a
issue?
Subaru is always the successor to the Mitsubishi because Mitsubishi will make the good thing first.
That was the Zero.
And then Mitsubishi will not continue making the good thing. And then Subaru will go, all right, I'll make the
could
good
do
thing.
that.
Yeah, we could do that.
We could do that.
And I don't know what the hell happened after this because after this, they made the Subaru 360. They made all these
my
great
God.
little cars, the car we
Yes.
saw before. And now we're looking at Crosstrek with a pop can plastic riveted to additional plastic.
Yep.
What the fuck, Subaru?
It's because the car was ready to be produced, and the marketing department's like, well, we have a skid plate, right? And they're like, well, there's no.
I genuinely no. As they've grown, the bean counters have shown that they can make Subaru more profitable, and that's what you're getting is they're trading the engineering that they previously had that made them special for additional additional. God, I'm just looking at this. It's literally plastic on plastic.
Yeah, he's pushing on it, and the whole thing's just moving.
They're
Also, it's like 6 inches long, by the way.
they're trading their future. Just their future for
Yes, which
profits now.
Brand recognition and loyalty, which is, well, they still somehow have it, but they,
Well, no, they do
keep making
because
decisions like
well, no,
this.
the thing is they do because they mostly sell crossovers, and the thing is with their crossovers and their crossovers being good, is they only have so much goodwill.
oh yeah,
They're not Toyota. Toyota was predicated on 30 years of goodwill. By the time that Toyota decided to be just boring and not great, and even when they were boring and not great, they still went to their base tenets of reliability.
but you still recommended Toyotas to people.
Yeah,
because it won't break.
A
2008 Corolla
Yeah,
is the most boring thing ever.
Jana's ES 330, it's vanilla as a flavor. It is boring as hell.
I spent the last week in an 06 ES330. I can attest to it.
Yeah, they're vanilla as a flavor. They're very boring, but you're not mad about it. You have an air conditioned seat. You have
Which
a
I used
sunroof.
a lot in Florida.
Yeah, you have a sunroof.
The sunroof was very noisy, so I left it closed.
It is a downside, but I mean, you still have it there. But you can still look up and see sky through
I
the
left
glass.
the shader closed.
I hate the shader. It's seasonal depression.
I just don't like noise.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, the ES330, even being the most boring Toyota product ever produced, was still not a bad car.
No, it's a good vehicle. Even the 2AZ 4-cylinder base Camry with the auto
And-
is.
and,
Did you see the Mighty Car Mods thing? They bought one
Yes,
of
they
those.
did, and then
That was
somebody hit and
hilarious.
ran it.
No.
That's why they didn't do another episode about it. the next video, I was watching them today because they have a new one. They're doing an up, exclamation mark.
Thank you.
They're doing a GTI swap to up, exclamation mark.
I used to love Mighty Car mods, and then the last 2 years it was really boring. Now I feel like I'm kind of back into it.
Yeah, no, they started doing more normal things instead of like crazy.
They need to
videos.
buy another Camry.
They really do. Like
That car was awesome.
Mighty Car mods. I like it when they do dumb things to like.
It was
Don't make a cool car. Don't do that. I'm not here for this.
280 horsepower on a stock auto 4-cylinder Camry. And
Yeah.
it's just like fine.
Yeah, like that's cool. Like, hell
Anyway,
yeah.
Subaru sucks.
Yeah, but like anyway, what I was saying is that when you have products like this, where it's like your Wilderness has the little metal sheet, like okay, so this is 100% not going to be used by anybody that's going to be off-roading this, so you're not going to have any goodwill from them.
Correct. Also, the CVT will explode the instant you show this thing a hill.
And the engines have proven to be catastrophically unreliable.
Because of mainly oiling issues
Yeah.
with the pump at the front running tap water for engine oil, all of which is a problem when you're off-roading.
Yeah. So, well, even on-roading, like
Ooh,
they're
It's
unreliable.
bad. It's very bad.
So, the thing is, like Toyota, when they abandoned their enthusiast, they were able to get by on taxi cab drivers. Abandoning their enthusiast, like they're not going to really be able to get by on much. Like
No, because I don't do anything.
Subaru's
great.
And so what Subaru's going to do is they're going to do like a Honda, where it's like they're going to abandon it and it's going to be like, all right, old people, that's who's going to buy this. But the problem is, Subaru has a market cap of I think they're like something like maybe like 400. How many cars is Subaru?
Well, even just like a percentage of what Toyota shifts. I mean, I know Subaru is a way smaller company. But yeah, I mean, Toyota, to your point, has always had reliability going for them. Like, they are going to sell you a product that will function.
Subaru sold 556,000 vehicles in 2022.
So that's a good chunk of cars, but I'm
Yes.
guessing Toyota was well over 1 million. I'd have to think. I mean, they sell 1 million F-150s.
Globally, between January and December 2022, Toyota sold 10.48 million cars.
So they're 20 times the size of
Yeah.
Subaru. Okay.
And let's look at Honda, who's like
Boy.
Honda never recovered from. They're still at 21 million
Oh my God. They sell more than Toyota?
worldwide. Yeah, apparently. But this is the thing.
Wow.
Like Honda and Toyota can weather this. Subaru, they aren't that big.
When was the last time you recommended a Subaru to somebody that doesn't maintain their car?
Yeah, exactly.
Never.
Like, Subaru is too small of a company to be doing this right now. This is like if Fiat decided to do this.
Oh my God.
No, you're going to sink the company. Lancia did that.
Oh my God.
Literally, Lancia did that through the Delta. They did nothing after the Delta, and then they fell off a cliff because nobody knew who the hell they were. And how do people find out who you are? By doing something ridiculous. Like, people knew Tesla because Tesla made the Roadster. Nobody knew who Jim EV was. Like the random compliance EVs I see like from the 2000s, which were effectively the same thing as a Roadster, just not sexy or fast.
Well, even like the T0, like autocross people knew about it,
Yeah.
which was the tech that went into the original Tesla
Exactly,
company.
yeah.
But like that, yeah.
But like when you actually make a car that like gets into a public fight with Top Gear, when you make a Model S that's actually like a sexy car, like at the time, like that's how you grow a company. Like you're not making volume sales with that.
Right.
And Subaru, I think they're making record numbers and they're going, okay, cool. We're just going to sit here and coast at 600,000 cars. And hopefully people are going to enjoy us because we're all-wheel drive. But like meanwhile, Subarus are the best lease candidates in the world because nobody in the world wants them below the Mason-Dixon line. It's just like, what are they thinking?
When your only selling point is it can be purchased cheaply and you drive all four wheels.
Yeah.
But every car does that now.
Yeah.
You can get an Altima with all-wheel drive.
In 2015, when I was selling Subarus,
Yeah.
I could not find a way to get around, honestly, like without lying to people. Why should I buy this Forester instead of a CX-5?
Oh God.
And other than me being a car nerd, like for your average soccer mom, I don't know, ma'am. Like
You shouldn't.
it's got a lower
rust
center.
as fast?
It's got a lower center of gravity. They're both gonna rust like hell. They're both not as reliable as a Toyota. So yeah.
Fair enough. If you got to take it, that's totally fine.
No, that's fine.
Wilderness, man. And just the fact that they put like a really outdoorsy trim, and like even this photo. Granted, the Autopian took this photo. It wasn't a press photo, but like clearly they are intending people to take this camping and go on lighter trails. The vehicle isn't ready for that, and just placating people with this little 6-inch long piece of sheet metal underneath the oil pan, riveted to plastic with plastic.
I get it. I get
It's
it.
just like a slap in the face to them thinking everyone is dumb, and everyone is dumb. But
Before I move on to my thing, can you? Actually, Jan just texted me. Said no worries. Anyway, I want to talk about another Subaru because we're going to dunk on Subarus twice in a row, and then I'm going to run outside for a phone call.
okay.
Actually, what we're going to do is I'm going to be anxious doing this. I want to rush through it. So tell me about this Ford EV, or tell everybody else about
let's
it,
do
and
that
I'll be right
real
back
quick.
in 1 second.
Sounds good. No worries at all. So the F-150 Lightning, the only, we'll say, good pickup truck that Ford makes, except for, I don't know, the Maverick has its upsides. Don't get me wrong. I like the fact that it's a compact truck and it gets good fuel economy, the fact that they have at least a mild hybrid version of it. But you know me, I'm the EV guy, right? So I got to tell you about the Lightning. This thing, since it launched, other than the fact it's just been blowing straight through the original MSRP claims, not getting anywhere near the $40,000 base, closer to $70,000 for a base F-150 Lightning, they have finally decided, in their infinite wisdom, to add a heat pump to this vehicle that already has the equipment for it. They already have AC-driven AC compressors, no pun intended. But, of course, this is like when they brought us the Jeep Grand Cherokee diesel and nobody bought it. Everyone's like, oh, well, we brought you a diesel, nobody bought it. Like, that's because you bundled it with the top trim, which added $30,000 to the vehicle.
So you can
Ford's doing the same thing with this, and you cannot get the heat pump in the base trim. You got to get a trim called the Flash.
Sounds stupid.
The Flash.
The Lightning Flash.
Yeah, there it is on the little
It comes
charge
with a heat
door.
pump. It's the Heat Flash. The Hot Flash.
It's better than a piss flash. But
I
anyway,
guess. This is stupid.
I just the heat. It should have. They're, okay. In an
They all
electric
should
car,
have it.
especially, everything should have a heat pump. All the equipment's there for air conditioning. It literally takes a reversing valve and a bigger evaporator. Yeah, inside the car to like pull the heat the other direction.
I have a question.
Yes,
Trucks are made for contractors.
typically they are.
The EVs are trying to replace the gas engines, right? Mm-hmm. Wouldn't a contractor want a heat pump?
Correct. It's a huge energy savings, especially like if you're running this thing, which
As a delivery truck.
or like a contractor, like
Yeah.
you're bidding a job and you want to leave the heat on so you can use it as an office, which they all do.
Yeah.
The heat pump is like 50% or more efficient than resistive heat,
This
and a
is
lot of
stupid.
these are sold in cold climates.
Well, I also know that a lot of them, a lot of contractors will buy a very expensive truck as a tax
will.
write-off.
Yep.
And I've watched this happen with like honest businesses. I
At
will-
the end of the year, a lot of expensive Denali's get sold.
Yeah,
King
no, well,
Ranches.
so I won't just name the shop that did this, but I knew an owner of a shop who also was starting up some AA stuff, and he had made a bunch of purchases and everything. He had actually been able to like grow his business because he had basically bought the building next to him.
Okay.
And that allowed him to start hosting AA meetings, and the coffee shop that he owned was suddenly more profitable.
Ah, great.
And so he made,
Okay.
but like since the coffee shop wasn't technically part of his nonprofit that ran the AA meetings,
Sure.
he owed a lot of money in taxes. So he
Great.
suddenly had to buy a stupid, expensive, fully loaded truck that he did not want because it was literally spend $90,000 or pay $120,000.
Yeah. No, and that happens way more than
Yeah.
it should, especially right now, because like
And it's
everyone's
just
taxes
stupid,
are
yeah.
so wonky from these big industrial ripples from the economy doing whatever it's doing in the
Yeah.
last 4 years.
It's totally wacky.
And I mean, as long as those people end up in one of these, fine, and you get the EV tax credit on top of that. I get it, and it
But-
is under that GV.
Yeah, but the thing is,
limit.
for like fleet sales and stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
you're like you could if that's Ford, they could squeak out an extra $15,000
Mm-hmm.
by having the heat pump be just a added on option to a base model.
The
or
components
whatever.
exist. They're completely divorced of the battery pack and every interior finish. So there's no reason that can't be an a la carte checkbox.
Yeah, no, it is entirely.
It should be standard.
It's totally just trying to force people into a higher trim level. It's stupid.
The base model of this, whatever, to get a heat pump, it is $69,999.
That is very dumb. I want to talk about other dumb things.
Cool.
Let's go talk about Subaru, because
All right.
Subaru is the WRX TR, whatever the fuck.
Oh, God, I just couldn't be bothered.
Oh, God, this is
I want to yawn looking at this, Ryan.
so boring.
The cladding is less pronounced, I guess.
So what they did on this is they gave it a manual transmission,
that's-
Brembo brakes, stiffer springs, and Recaro seats.
Did they do anything to up the power? Like
No.
Did they change the? You said suspension or just
Yes,
brakes?
suspension and brakes.
Okay, all right.
And manual transmission. But, like, okay, cool. This had a manual.
Yeah, that's one of the only reasons you would.
It already had a manual. Like,
oh God, what's up with this freaking Outlander ad?
okay. It has a
So,
different steering rack.
It's an FB24 still.
245, 35, 19s. Jesus Christ, that's a big tire.
So you're gonna have a lot of pothole issues. All right. Still have Recaros from like 10 years ago. Got it.
Well, actually, they're 8-way power adjustable Recaros. The Recaros make a huge difference.
Yes,
in
you
the
would
factory.
never buy one of
Yeah.
these without the Recaros. You would have to have a smooth brain to not do that. Wow, they have no pictures of this.
Actually, they did do one change that is remotely worthwhile. The Recaro seats have a lower seat position,
that's
which
nice for tall
allows
people.
you to wear a helmet.
Or just be like 6'8" and be comfortable.
Or they could have made the car able to be worn with driven with a helmet on from the start because it's a performance car.
Correct. The demographic for a WRX owner, unless I am wrong, is late 20s to late 30s males. And a lot of those people that are buying a manual turbocharged car are going to be doing things
Yes.
like autocross and track
Do you want to
days.
hear the most confused addition to this car? Think about
Does it have a skid plate?
No. What is the very last thing you've ever considered as an option on a car that is centered on enthusiasts and is meant for like a track car or an engaging driving feature? What is the very last thing that you would ever care about adding onto a car that's a noteworthy option on other vehicles?
Heated steering wheel, maybe?
No, it's
The
a
last thing
noteworthy-
I would care on a performance car.
Yeah, the very last thing that would ever come to mind when you're shopping for a performance car and you want a performance trim level, what is the very last
Driver aids?
thing? Yes. They added eyesight.
I don't want that.
Nobody asked for that.
I hate that system. And it
Who asked
defaults to
this?
on.
Who the fuck asked for that? Nobody asked for that. Now it's available in a manual finally. Great, which is kind of okay, I guess.
Great,
But like
so now I can have a computer ruin my clutch
why?
somehow.
What?
Eyesight is like
Nobody asked for that.
It is the worst driver assistance feature I've ever experienced.
Why on earth? I would love to see the bean counter that said that this needs to go. Like, who the fuck cares? This is what? I'm just baffled. It's like if AMD made a Threadripper that was more eco-friendly. Like, what? I'm like, that's not what. That's literally why I don't have a Threadripper. I don't care about the environment. I need to compute.
It's 4
heavily.
times as fast as a Ryzen 9, but we cut the TDP to 70 watts, and now it's way slower.
Yeah, like what? Like nobody asked for that. Like,
That's a terrible idea.
what the fuck? Like, why?
Subaru, you're not making it easy for us to like you.
We've now made an F-16 fighter, but it carries a crew of 25. Like, what am I going to
We
use
had to
that
reduce
for?
bomb and ammo payload a little bit.
Like, what am I going to use that for?
A Joint Strike Fighter / DC-10?
Yeah, like, here's my GE locomotive that has a 0 to 60 of 5 seconds, but can only pull 2,500 pounds of weight. Like,
It's only got one traction
Yeah.
motor.
like, what on earth? Who's asking for this shit? What the fuck? Like, I don't get. Who is in charge of that? Who like?
The same people that put a skid plate into plastic, Ryan. That's who's in
Yeah.
charge of it.
No, there's one guy at Subaru that's like a plant from Mitsubishi.
Or, from Honda Acura from 5 years ago. Oh, like, no problem. I got you guys.
Nobody asked for
You know
that.
what people want?
Nobody asked for that. Nobody cares. This is probably the same guy that's been dogging the turbocharged BRZ.
Well, that one I kind of understand. It would make the car more expensive.
Yeah, but like, Jesus Christ.
This is I hate that system. Eyesight is so bad.
I'm just like genuinely, who the fuck?
And to your point, the people that buy WRXs don't want the car to hit the brakes for them.
Yeah, no, like it's literally
Especially like the Brembo brakes.
It's called the TR. It's the track package. Like TRs for track.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
They should just call it the AC.
I genuinely think that they just have a random salesperson, whoever was salesman of the month, like from like 5 years ago, is just like in charge of product development.
The
for
spin
Subaru.
wheel they get at the end of the month, it's got like 5 options
Yeah,
on it.
like-
Like you get to add a feature to the next month's car
Yeah,
production.
like literally, it seems like that.
And then there's a second spin wheel that has a fixed amount of features.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, I guess I'll be able to install eyesight on the manual WRX track car. Great. Nobody asked for that. Nobody wants that. That's
The employees probably just gotten railroaded on it too. Like, great, now my name's on this too, so people think I did that.
yeah. Like, what the fuck? This AI generated track package? Like, get out of here.
Yeah, Mid-Journey, like, why are there eyesight sensors on this track package WRX?
No, even Mid-Journey gets it right. This is like, it's like ChatGPT 4 when they first launched it. God, this is awful.
Give me an out-of-touch product for a mid-20s enthusiast car buyer.
Absolutely just like you were saying
You're right.
that like
This is ChatGPT that wrote a feature list and they just had to go with it.
Yeah,
It was
no,
too
like-
late.
like you were talking about how the new the Crosstrack Wilderness was bad. Like no, that at least like on paper makes sense. It's like yeah, they like sheet metal skid plates. Okay, cool. No,
The right feature
There's a train
implemented
coming.
wrong and the wrong feature implemented in the wrong way.
I hate it. I'm gonna go away now.
All right,
Bye.
Bye.